Hello and welcome back to Space Engineers. My name is Rabenschild. I'm still sitting on this space and I definitely need to do something else in the near future. I'm going crazy with this. But you can see that I dabbled around with the cockpit or the bridge design, and I'm still missing the front. But I did these side balconies. I don't know how they are called on ships. Sometimes they exist so that the bridge crew can leave the bridge and see, don't know, for themselves what's happening there. And it's neat. I wired or conveyed it up with these pipes. They are a lot nicer than the big conveyors. If I would have to run them, that wouldn't be nice. And the good thing is I tested it. I can get big things through there, so they work like the normal conveyors, and I don't have to fear that I wouldn't get components through that or something like that. I have a cargo container here now and a med bay. That's good. I also wired it up so that it can be pressurized when it's done. That's neat. But again, the bridge will not be our main thing for today. The main thing will be, again, the hangar doors on the bottom. Ash gave me a comment about maybe making something with blast doors that is going in and out of the ship, and I could anchor the small ship on that and then just bring it in, and I built that. So it's pretty neat. I personally have the problem that I think it might be too dangerous for. Do you see the wobbling of the screen? I'm not touching the mouse or anything. It's just the ship on these blast doors. Here it's not happening, or it seems to not be so frequent. I have the feeling, or I have the fear that this subgrid might be problematic in the end, because it's this attracts clang sometimes. It's not airtight. That's something we will not get with that. He suggested, or the comment suggested to if possible maybe get rid of the hangar doors at one point. So I could put some hangar doors below this. That's what I did here, and we will take a look at this in a second. That's what I did then to remedy the situation. We could put some. Let us open the hangar doors. So, okay, I can show this immediately. So, my idea with the arm bringing it in, and then this swinging part below it, that didn't work. I could power it, but then if timing ever would be off or something like that, everything could go wrong. There were speculations that it could be the gyros or something like that, and it still could be, although I turned off the dampeners that should fight against that. So I'm not sure. I went for a straight piston that I can bring in and out, and it sticks out so far that I can anchor the ship up top, bring it in, and then I can close the hangar door below it. That's why I had to go lower with the hangar doors here. I've put some wheels below that because I fear that at one point this ship could just sink, and then I might destroy the bottom. So I've put some wheels below it, so it might not be so bad. So you can see that the hangar doors are below the whole blast door up here. I could make the blast door smaller, put some hangar doors back in, but then I would have the pistons here, and that would be just too narrow for the ship. There might be possibilities. I could go and just go with one of these things, and then could it, don't know, make it even bigger or something like that. I'm not sure yet. This works, but I think it's dangerous, so I'm not entirely sure. Let us take a look. Again, it works as a concept, so Ash did a good job there. And again, it's a concept that works for a while now. I didn't take a look at it because, again, I feared that it might, you know, this is a flying object with a clang attracting thing on the bottom. It's not so bad anymore since some of the updates, but again, that's the anxiety I'm feeling when it comes to stuff like that. I recently lost again another big rover to stuff like that, and just that were just a few rotors that brought in ramps, and yeah, okay, the arm might be problematic, but everything there exploded, and I don't want to happen to this, that, I don't know, this thing suddenly flips the whole ship, it just crashes to the ground, burns, and everything is bad. So this definitely works. We can unlock the ship and then fly away to the front or to the back. That all is pretty nice. And the other thing works too. So we can come in, go up, then this is more the Star Trek Enterprise approach. The NX-01 thing had shuttles that were on a mast that was lowered, and then the whole thing would be just pulled into that. I could do it now from the inside, but I will just go outside so we can bring in the whole shuttle or scout or whatsoever. And then when it is inside, we can close the hangar doors. That works pretty well too. I don't know what we should do. It's one of these things where I'm open for votes again, and say we should consider both of them. Having both of them here might be not so nice. Pros. This has the big pro kind of that it is, I can walk on this and then just go up to the ship. This is flexible, so if there's a ship without a connector, it can just land here, and then I can bring that in, at least as long as it has landing gears to lock down to. This is pretty nice again, because you can just bring it down, put the ship on here, bring it up. This has the pros that it is airtight, and then I can connect the ship up. So I'm directly connecting the ship up, so I can get to the reactors, I can get to whatever I need, and use that. So these are kind of the pros, and the cons would be that I fear this thing, and again I would have to find another way to connect ships up. Although, again, it might not be needed, because I could put a cargo container in here, and if there's something in the ship, I can just transport it over or something like that. it's not like this thing has storage like crazy or something like that. It doesn't have weapons. I only need to store uranium once in a while in there. The cons with this is that it is harder to approach, in my opinion, and it brings some, ships need to have connectors. There's no other way to connect it up, kind of. If there's no connector on the ship, then the ship could just, don't know, be brought in here but couldn't connect up, and so the whole thing here would be defeated. Give me your opinions on that. I'm desperately in need for opinions, and maybe some, don't know, maybe some of you worked with systems like this, so that I might not have to fear that this thing completely explodes if I don't know, if I run it too much. This whole room doesn't need to be airtight. It would be nice because back here I have the reactors. I want to develop this room a bit more and maybe put some, change the reactors again, not change the type, but change how they are connected up. Because right now I'm using one refinery to refine all the uranium, and I will talk about this in a second. I'm running into a problem here. So yeah, I will at least make it so that this room would be sealable, or would be airtight if this thing wouldn't be here, and then we'll disconnect it from this room, the back room, and this room, just so that I can decide whatever I want to do with the other rooms. I'm not sure if this thing is pressurizable. I would have to close the front. That's one thing I want to do anyways. This room here needs a lot more work. Okay, now to the refineries for a second. Let me show you something. Give me a sec. I will make a shortcut and then we will go to the refineries. So what I wanted to talk about is that I run into a real power problem. I have now set up the refinery with its refinery. Yes, the refinery 3. I've set it up with 2 yield modules and 2 speed modules. The yield modules are, before I had 4 yield modules to get the maximum amount of uranium from the ore I brought in. The thing is that the reactors eat up uranium so fast that it is really hard to keep up with them. At the moment, it should work. So this one slowly fills up, roughly by 0.07 kilograms per, per cycle, per whatsoever. You can see that it roughly it's 0.07 or 8 or something like that. But this one empties out by a slower margin, so I'm still on the positive side by roughly 0.01 kilogram of uranium. But that's not a lot. The problem is that this counts for how heavy the ship is at the moment, how much energy this ship at the moment uses up. So it could be that this thing will never be able to fly on its own for a long time. By the way, I just have the FPS up there. I will close that now. I wanted to just see if it works out with. I had in reviewing the footage from 2 minutes ago. I saw some wonkiness going on, and that I wanted to see that. So for one, this thing is eating through energy like crazy. So whenever this thing runs, I use up a lot of uranium that I'm not sure I'm getting back in. So the refinery itself with the speed modules, you can see that is fast enough now to process all the all the uranium. Let us go there again. The thing is, I have the fear that in the long run I just run out of uranium, and I would have to put in so much uranium that it wouldn't work. I had 200,000 units of uranium, and I think I still have a bit more. So here you can see that I have a bit more, and that's all then that I could grab for now. Roughly 210,000, a bit more. Again, this thing is running now for a while, but I'm on the positive side with just 0.01 uranium. Does the power margin change when no, power efficiency is still 100%, but it takes 1.68 megawatts. The thing is that I had the problem that with just the yield modules, the reactors were eating through uranium faster than I could produce that. I could go for more refineries now. The thing with refineries is they take uranium too. I'm not sure if I can really bring the amount or the days I have up. I'm not sure if that will be possible in the long run. I could bring in more and more uranium, but the weight of the whole thing also influences how much power we use. It's a weird struggle that I can't keep up with. Having this thing fly is a problem, and so I will have to find a dock for it. I need a way to get this thing off of its thrusters basically, and then run not on power, not on station power or something like that, but I would like to anchor it somewhere so that the thrusters don't need to fire that much anymore, and the reactors can fill up, and then we can see how this works out. So I need to find a way to anchor it to this mountain. I thought that would be a good idea. And one thing we could do with that is establish a base in there, have a nice home here. But again, I need to try to never step on the ground of this planet. So this is still in effect. I don't want to do that, and this will be a thing that I need to be really careful how to drill out a base, how to build. I don't know. I need to take a look at how to build from a cockpit or something like that. That's possible. Never did that. So I will fly over to this cliff face here, and we will build the base somewhere on the ground level. So a base for the, don't know where we can establish all the normal things, refineries, and. A bit up, we will go and build maybe something where we can anchor this ship to, with hopefully landing gears that are able to keep the whole thing, don't know, anchored, and maybe I don't need to put in all the power then anymore. And then we will have to see. The thing with just having flying vehicles here might bite us in the end. But I'm hopeful. I would say it's not possible to keep this thing without massive inputs of uranium from space. I think keep it upright. And the problem is that the ship in space itself uses up amounts of uranium, and it is just able to stay up because the ship up in space is able to reduce the amount of uranium it uses just by using solar cells, and a lot of them. I wouldn't know where to put all the solar cells. We can take a look at the thrusters. The LY thrusters, for some reason, take up a lot more energy. They put out more thrust, and that's what we need. But they also use up 16.84 megawatts of power, each one. So each one would need a solar panel bigger than this. Even with the tiered thrusters, tiered solar panels. These are, I think, 8, I would say roughly 15 or 14 megawatts. So it's just crazy. It's just crazy to keep this thing hovering at the moment. There needs to be a way to deal with that. I have another power source that I might want to try, and it is where is it? I have found a deuterium reactor that has some let us take a look if we can find it. It would be nice if we can just find it. Lasers, power blocks here. These IGW deuterium fusion reactors. I'm not sure what that means. We need to take a look. It has a 30 gigawatts version. Question is if we need what we need to produce enough power for that deuterium processor. It could be that this thing. Let us just build one. I'm not sure what it needs. We will take a look. It seems any item accepted by, yeah, it doesn't tell me what it needs. Inventory mass, inventory in, it seems to use QMT. Okay, we need to hook it up to something and then see what we can put in there. The thing is that I don't know if we can put enough materials in that, how much we even need for this. So the whole thing is iffy as hell at the moment. Okay, so it does something already. Uranium and ice. And then it produces deuterium. Okay, let us take a look what we need for one of these reactors. No. Oh no. Magnetron components. Oh, what could that be? Gravity, magnetron. Gold, silver. I might need to bring that in from space. I will turn this off for now, just because I don't want it to produce deuterium like crazy. How much? I will bring magnetron components in and see. We will see how much energy this thing produces with 18 deuterium containers. I went to orbit to bring all the stuff in, but that will take a while. These magnetron parts take a really long time to produce, and I think we should end the episode here, and in the next episode we take a look at the power situation and also might go. So if that works out, we go back to the planet and then find a nice place to settle down, use this maybe to remedy a bit our power situation. We will see. I want to make a few tests with this before, put some uranium in, see how much stuff we get from the from a few bits of uranium and a few bits of ice. The good thing is that we don't have to pipe in hydrogen or something into that. We just take ice, we just take uranium, and then we can figure out how it splits up. If it's, don't know, 1, 2, 2 or 1, 2, 3 or something like that. And we can see how much power this thing produces, for how long, with how many things we have then. That gives us a bit of an outlook on is this really better than what we have right now? Does that change something? The good thing is it takes raw uranium and is pretty fast. That's something that is neat. If it is able to sustain the amount of power it should produce for a relatively long time with the raw resources it gets, then I'm hopeful, let's say it that way. Yeah, we also need to find then an anchor place. We will do that this week, and then next week we maybe concentrate a bit on building the base, finding a way to hold the ship nicely in place and all that stuff. We will see. It's so nice. Space engineers, I had a bit of a discussion with someone that said that Space Engineers is bland because the whole survival stuff doesn't do anything for Space Engineers and the update. And on some level, the person was right. So the survival update will not change a lot when it comes to survival. It will make life a bit nicer for people that just start out with it, and it will give just a slight bit of challenge in the beginning for people that know their way. And it's the whole thing with temperature that makes sense, in my opinion, and the thing about the bland is I'm playing Space Engineers constantly for maybe 5 years now. So we are coming close to the first episode of Space Engineers Survival being 5 years old, and for me it doesn't get bland. I really like to play the game, experiment with it. Mods make life a lot nicer there. So although I sometimes have the feeling that I burn out on Space Engineers, I don't have the feeling that I constantly then find something that I can do to don't know, remedy the situation for me. That's in my opinion a really, really good thing. So that's one thing I really like about Space Engineers. Not everybody is that way, and I can understand that other people demand different things from a game, that it needs to be colorful and bright and give you constant things to do. But I played a lot of other survival games, and a lot of survival games have the problem that at one point it kind of, you kind of have to do your own thing to make life interesting for you. That's how these games work, in my opinion. So don't say it's bland, just don't know, because you it's hard to say. It's hard to say. If it's not your taste, then yeah, it might be bland, but what gives? Good people. I think I will be back on Wednesday, and then we will take a look at this whole reactor situation here, and maybe go back to the planet if we have the time for that, and prepare that, bring the materials in, find a nice place to anchor, and then start ground-based base. I didn't want to do that as early as I am doing it right now, but if this power situation doesn't change, then we are in trouble. So good people, I would say thanks for watching, and I hope you liked the episode. If you did, then please leave a like on it, and I hope to see you in the next one. See ya, guys.